Welcome to Colorado Inside Out post-game, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. Let's get a quick take on the upcoming Election Day. Although still more than 2 months away, Democrats have committed close to $12 million for local media ads. That's more than half of the $19.6 million committed by all campaigns to date. By comparison, Republicans have only spent a little over $7 million on ads. Patty Calhoun from Westword, there's a long time between now and Election Day, but the fact that 56% of the committed airtime is already in Democratic hands, that's got to say something. What do you think?
I actually think it doesn't say much more than the fact that this is going to be an unbelievably expensive election, and money may not make the difference. It's going to be smart ground games. I've heard that the Republicans have upped the ante too, so they might be pouring as much in. Whether there's a lot of ad time remaining, I don't know, but that's going to be a very small part of what influences this election. It's going to be the social media, it's going to be the public contact, it's going to be how smart those campaigns are, the smart way they spend money. It's interesting that Michael Huttner is back here, the founder of Progress Now. Hickenlooper doesn't want to do dirty ads. He doesn't want to do negative ads, but other Democrats sure do, and that's one of the projects that Michael's going to be doing. It's going to be grim, but what's amazing is I was talking to someone at a local TV station because fracking, all the pro and con fracking had tied up a lot of those ads. I asked how long it took to resell it. It took an hour. It was gone. That's how much demand there is.
Wow, it's a little scary. David Copeland from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. I know there's a long time between now and then, but if you had extra money to spend on these campaigns, is it better to go with ads to get that desired unaffiliated voter in Colorado, or is it about the ground game, or do you have to do both?
I think you have to do both, but as Patty said, we're probably hitting a saturation point on ads. And the ground game is where elections are often won, and that's why Barack Obama won this state in 2012, is he had a much stronger ground game. Not that Romney's was bad, but Obama's was far superior. And that's not only the physical volunteers making phone calls out of somebody's house, it's also the social media and all those things. Harry Reid gets mocked a lot, but the fact is he is a Frank Underwood level of clever, because one of the things he did, starting about 2 years ago, was that the official 5-minute hate every day was going to be about the Koch brothers, and demonize them and, oh, look how they're coming in and they're buying the state, and you can't look at your email inbox without getting something from Michael Bennet or Mark Udall as, please send me $5, the Kochs are spending trillions against me and all this. Well, the fact is the Democrats, as these spending figures show, have been quite successful through groups like the Democracy Alliance, also known as the Billionaire Boys Club, about cultivating the ultra-rich and getting enormous money out of them. And in fact, they're doing a better job at it than Republicans are. And there's nothing wrong or illegal about that, but it is a little cynical to be raising $5 here and there from the little guy who really thinks he's helping you. The Democrats stand up to the Koch billionaires when in fact the Democrats have their own billionaires and are actually better at collecting billionaires.
The accusation of cynicism in politics, I hope our viewers are sitting down and not, I'm sure they're floored by that kind of an accusation. Eric Sondermann, political analyst, is there time to make a lot of different changes? Do Republicans make it up at this point? When they see these kind of numbers, does it get them interested in saying we have to catch up? Does that become their emails to their people?
I truly believe that when we're sitting here a day or 3 days on the Friday Inside Out show after the election, early November, and when we're analyzing whatever went down, I don't believe money is going to be the variable. I don't think either side here is going to be under-resourced. Both sides are so over-resourced, it boggles the mind. David referred to a saturation point. I happened to be watching television last night, Thursday night. I was batching it and channel swimming. It's unwatchable these days, and that's what was yesterday, August 21st. We have 2 to 2.5 months still to go. We're nowhere near a crescendo yet, and it is already a saturation point. It is already unwatchable. The TV stations, with ballot issues, it's a somewhat different rule, but with candidate campaigns, if the money is there's some obligations to even it up in terms of selling avails. Republicans will get some of those availabilities and even this up. Nationally, it is Democrats who are crying and pleading poverty. David mentioned all these emails. I think I get a lot of those same emails. And nationally, it's Democrats who are concerned about the money war. Colorado's a different game, and I think there's one reason, which is if Mark Udall doesn't win, the Democrats have zero hope in my mind of holding on to the U.S. Senate. Udall could win, and the Republicans could still take over the Senate because they have enough targets of opportunity elsewhere. But if they can't get Udall across the finish line in a purple to blue-leaning state like Colorado, there are so many other states that are going to tip before Colorado tips that this is sort of their last-ditch effort to hold on to the Senate is to get Udall across that finish line.
Penfield Tate, attorney at Greenberg Traurig, also a longtime state lawmaker. We have a lot of space between, there's a lot of money involved. At some point, if people have been hearing about these ads, we've been watching negative ads about Cory Gardner and Mark Udall for months already. Does the electorate become tone deaf when it gets to that hot zone when the ballots come out? By the middle of October, or even the unaffiliated voters, have their eyes become glazed over at that point?
You know, I think to an extent they do, but the problem is they'll continue to watch to see if there's something new and horrible about a candidate they haven't heard before. The reason you see all these negative ads is most, political operatives will tell you, yeah, they're distasteful, they're horrible, but their work, people pay attention and they remember them. And so we're going to continue to see more of these negative ads, although we continue to complain about them. The amount of money that's pouring into these elections is astounding. And it's not going to stop because I think there's now a convergence. You asked earlier if you had a bunch of money, would you put it in ads or would you put it in the ground game? I'm not certain that there's a divergence between the two anymore. I would argue that all these emails you get from Harry Reid and somebody saying, send me $5, it's not about the $5. They know that if they hook you on the email and you send them $5, they've got you. You're now going to vote probably with them. And they may now be able to entice you to do something more than put out a yard sign. So I think actually part of the fundraising pitch is an effort to cultivate the fields for ground forces. And I think what Obama has shown through the last two presidential election cycles is ground game wins in Colorado. If you've got the right ground game, if you get people out, if you're smart, you're going to win because you're going to turn out the people more apt to vote for your candidate than the other folks who just relying on mailers and TV ads because TV ads aren't necessarily going to motivate people to vote.
Do Dems hold the advantage because they can play with Obama's playbook?
I think historically Dems hold the advantage because for years they've been so far behind in the money race, they had to resort to the ground game to get the wins. Now that ground game sort of philosophy has been institutionalized, but it needs to be refined because like anything, if you do it long enough and it becomes rote memory and you get sloppy with it, it's not going to be effective. So the art is continuing to refine the process, refine your game so you get the same result.
That's all the time we have for Colorado Insight postgame this week. Leave us a comment and tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.